After a very competitive NLDS sweep against the St. Louis Cardinals, the Colorado Rockies are now NLCS bound, but we face our toughest challenge yet. I think by a long shot here. You take a look at the Braves roster that we are about to face off against, and it looks unbeatable. Their starting rotation is filled with all 5 players being 90 plus overall. And then you have their bullpen is mostly full of starting pitchers who are 80 plus overall. Good pitchers just unable to crack this insanely good starting lineup. I mean, you contrast that to that St. Louis Cardinals series, and the highest rated pitcher that we face as a starter is the same as Michael Daly, who won't even be in the starting rotation. So we're going to be going up against much better pitching in this series. You see there's only 2 actual relievers that are in their bullpen at all. But the thing is, we're also not getting a break in terms of how good at hitting. This team is even better than the St. Louis Cardinals when it comes to batting. You're getting a guy in 87 overall, Tyler Stevenson, hasn't even taken a single at-bat in the playoffs, and he's 87 overall. That's how good this team is. You got Torkelson, you got Olsen here. Ozzy Albies is really good. Royce Lewis is awesome. Austin Riley, another guy who hasn't even taken a single at-bat in the postseason. That's not how I would have done things if I were, the Braves, but I mean, a guy with high 70s power can't even get in that bat on this team. They're playing Ignacio Alvarez. If I was managing this team, I'd play Royce Lewis at shortstop and Austin Riley at third. Yeah, you're losing a lot of defense there, but you're just, with how good their pitching is and how good their offense is, I think you can sacrifice some defense. You got Brandon Marshall, Jackson Merrill, you got Michael Harris, and of course you got 99 overall, 31-year-old Ronald Acuna. Starting to lose some stuff here at this point in his career, but obviously an insanely dangerous player. This team has the star power at the top. They have the depth. Rarely do you see those two things. Usually you'll see a started team. They'll have some duds in their lineup. Not the case here. And furthermore, their pitching and their hitting is equally as dangerous. This is going to be an insanely tough series for us. I'm excited to get it going. So let's hop into the action here for NLCS Game 1. So can we beat the loaded Braves here on the road to start the NLCS? I think if we could take one of 2 in today's episode, I would constitute that as a win for us. If we can have this series knotted, headed to our 3-game home stretch of this series, I think that puts us in a good chance to win and upset the Braves here in the NLCS. If we get, swept 0-2 here in the episode, that certainly makes things tougher. Not impossible to come back from 0-2 by any means, but the Braves are stacked top to bottom here. Pitching, position players, they have it all. It's going to be a tough series for a very unproven Rockies team. They did, sweep the last series. This iteration of the Rockies has yet to lose a playoff game, but it's a very small sample size. And I do think they were the favorites over the Cardinals in that NLDS. They were the higher seed. I also just thought we were a more talented roster. Gonna break out the black uniforms today. I don't think we've used those at all here in the series. I think they're good-looking uniforms. And a postseason matchup against Atlanta felt like a good time to break them out. We're going to be going against Alek Manoah here. Not so good in the postseason. A 409 whip. I think you want to do better than that, but a very talented pitcher. Can't expect that to keep going. Kyle Brown will start the game with a ground out to shortstop. Herrera hit over 500 in the NLDS against the Cardinals. Strikes one well to right field here, but it is hauled in by Acuna. 99 overall. The highest overall here in this series. Murillo will get the day started with a base knock over in that right infield gap. Good to see him get the day started with a hit after being unable to pick up any hits in Game 3 last episode. Neil Dorsey, fly out to center field, and the inning is over. Just one hit aboard for the Rockies. Unable to do anything with it. Now, I did forget to manually set our starter here, so it's going to be Neil Dorsey. Was planning on it being Chase Dollander, but I'm fine with Dorsey starting here in this spot. This will be his first career postseason start. 3.73 ERA, a 1.28 whip in his rookie season. We know it wasn't exactly his pitching that carried him to the MVP performance, but it was a very good pitching year for the rookie. Michael Harris, though, gets things started right away for Atlanta. Smoking one right back up the middle for a leadoff single. Marsh hitting well for the Braves so far in these playoffs, over 400, but that average will dip down a little bit here with a fly out to Zach Veen. Acuna, extremely dangerous hitter here. This one is out into foul territory and a catch there by Sterling Thompson makes it 2 outs here, and then what a strikeout to get Ozzie Albies looking. And to end the inning, both teams with one hit on the board. Like what I'm seeing from Neil Dorsey on the mound. Ethan Salas, another guy who hit very well for us in the NLDS, comes into the series with a 500 postseason average and flies out there for a very quiet second inning for Colorado. No hits on the board. Atlanta's turn back up, bottom second. This one hauled in by Zach Veen. Torkelson almost got himself an extra base hit there. That'll bring up Matt Olson. He's got some serious power against righty pitching, but goes down looking for the second strikeout. A couple of very perfectly placed strike threes for Neil Dorsey early on in this ballgame. Right on the edge there. 0-1 for Royce Lewis, and he's getting himself a base hit. Throw from Zach Veen is good. And Lewis will settle in at first base. Murphy, the catcher, goes down swinging on the curve, and that's 3 gorgeous strikeouts for Neil Dorsey here early in this one. Through 2 innings, score will remain at 0 apiece. Some good pitching on both sides. Omar Figueroa, he's down looking at a pitch that was maybe a little suspect, but this umpire is calling these pitcher-friendly calls consistently. And honestly, at the end of the day, as long as it's consistent, I'm fine with it. Kyle Brown can't get this past the glove of the shortstop, so it's another quiet inning for the Rocky offense. Just 1 hit through 3 innings. Ignacio Alvarez is down swinging, and Neil Dorsey continues to rack up the strikeouts in his first postseason start. Michael Harris back up top of the order, gets his second hit. Once again, right up the middle, maybe not quite as hard hit as his first one, but it's a 1-out single. That'll bring up Marsh. This one inside and cracked through the middle once more. Michael Harris going for third, and he will get there safely. That's going to be 2 runners in scoring positions now with the double from Brandon Marsh, trying to get the runner at third, allowed Marsh to get that extra base. Now it's Acuna. He draws a walk, and the bases are juiced. This seems like the best opportunity the Braves have had to score here. This would be very disappointing for them if they weren't able to get anything here. Can Neil Dorsey get out of the jam here in the bottom of the third? Swinging on the first pitch, Michael Harris has a base knock. All the way back to the wall, and two Atlanta runs score. Runners on second and third once more. Can't keep this loaded Braves offense down forever. Excellent start to the game here by Neil Dorsey, but starting to get in some trouble here in the third inning. Torkelson hitting in the 5 spots. He's going to ground out to Rafael Murillo, but another Braves run is aboard. Their third of the game. Matt Olson chasing a pitch outside the zone. Thompson corrals it and ends the inning for Atlanta. Just able to string together quite a few hits and put 3 runs on the board. Clemente Herrera up for the second time in this game. Back up against the wall. He's sliding into second safely for a leadoff double. This man has been just incredibly consistent here in this postseason and continues his excellent play here to start the NLCS. Got to get this man across home plate here. Murillo swinging at a pitch well above the strike zone there. I know it's a pitcher-friendly zone today, but you don't have to chase something that high. So that'll bring up Dorsey. 1 gone here, 1-2 count. This pitch lifted deep to center field. It's over the wall for a 2-run homer for MVP Neil Diamond Dorsey. 414 feet on this home run blast, and Dorsey, allowed 3 runs to the Braves. Has to make up for it here, putting 2 on the board for Colorado, getting them right back. What an awesome player, man. Love Neil Dorsey. Zach Veen, he can't quite check his swing on the high fastball. Makes it 2 down here, top of the 4th. Thompson, quick grounder here, and the Rockies are out of the inning, but are aboard here with the 2-run Neil Dorsey blast. Sean Murphy here will strike out, looking. Second out here, bottom of the 4th. 5th K of the game for Dorsey. Continues to take advantage of the fact that this umpire is calling these edge of zone strikes consistently. Alvarez pop fly into shallow right field, and Clemente Herrera gloves it. So a good rebound inning for Dorsey there. Retires the Braves 1-2-3. Back to the Rockies, bottom of the order. Up next. This bottom of the order has had some good moments in the playoffs. Solace there will go down looking. You got to know at this point in the game that the umpire's calling these for strikes. And Brian Doe looking as well. I mean, this has been very consistently a pitcher-friendly strike zone. You got to protect better than that. Manoah strikes out the side. At least Figueroa decided to go down swinging. We had 3 strikeout looking in the same inning. That would have been pretty embarrassing. Top of the order back up for Atlanta. Bottom of the 5th. This one high and tight. And Zach Veen had to travel quite a ways to snag it, but he does. 2 gone here now for Acuna. Grounder to first. And another Good inning from Dorsey. 2 consecutive hitless innings pitched from him. Now the Rockies are back up. Murillo unable to make anything here of the 6th. Rockies go down 1-2-3 as well. Scoring starting to lull here as the Rockies will bring in Herb Reyes in relief of Dorsey. Herb certainly hasn't been great so far in the postseason, but our manager likes to go to him here in this long relief role. Every time there is a long relief opportunity, he seems to pick Herb Reyes. I assume it's mostly for his stamina, but certainly seeing a lot of Herb Reyes here in the postseason, hoping we can get a better outing from him today, but so far not so great. Runners on the corners, still no outs here in the 6th. The bullpen was the biggest weakness of this Rockies team in the NLDS, and looking like it might be a bit of a problem here today, as that will be the 4th Atlanta run aboard. Now a runner on second, 1 gone for Royce Lewis. Diving play by Sterling Thompson, but he can't glove it cleanly, and Lewis beats the throw. Unable to get an out there. Murphy hitless. This one, a bit of a miss over the middle, and Zach Veen able to glove it. And a little bit of a wild throw there, but it banks off the third base coach. And Torkelson is caught at home plate. He saw the wild throw. Just got unlucky that the third base coach was able to stop that ball. Veen gets one to hit over the middle. This one's cracked well to right field. It's off the wall. And caught trying to go for 2 here. Acuna has quite the arm over in right field and shows it off there. Usually you hit a ball that hard and you're thinking extra bases for sure, but it just fell right into Acuna's lap and he was able to make the throw. So unfortunately, nothing on the board for the Rockies once again as we head into the 7th inning stretch. Herb Reyes back out for the 7th, and he allows a home run to Ignacio Alvarez. This is the one guy on the Braves roster that we're not supposed to have any problems with getting out. They've got hitters on hitters on hitters at 1 through 8. You get 1 relief in the entire lineup, but we allow a home run to him here. That'll extend the Braves' lead to 3 runs here late. 0-2 now for Marsh. This one's going to be down for a hit in left field. Gets all the way back to the wall. Zach Veen with the throw. It's going to be a double for Brandon Marsh. Herb Reyes struggling, with that hits per 9. He will be relieved for Acuna, who strikes out on the curve. Good start to the day for Ramirez. Another guy that we saw plenty of in the NLDS. You can definitely tell who our manager has confidence in our bullpen and who he does not. Ryan Doe up in the top of the 8th. He draws himself a walk. Has been unable to get on base up until now. Figueroa gets a pitch right over the middle and he cranks it deep to left center field. Over the wall and it is gone. A 2-run blast for Omar Figueroa. If it's before the 8th inning, don't ask Omar to do anything. But once we get to the 8th, He is coming through for us late in these ball games, time and time again. And just like that, it's back to just a 1-run difference. Kyle Brown grounds out here. 2 gone now here, top of the 8th. That'll bring up Herrera. Only has 1 hit today. He's pretty much been guaranteed 2 per game, but not going to be so here. He is down looking. Only have half of the hits of the Braves so far, but still just a 1-run game here as we get to the bottom of the 8th. Atlanta trying to tack on some insurance runs. And Spencer Torkelson with a good start to it here, with a leadoff base hits out to left field. Matt Olson, some serious power, hasn't been able to show it off here in game 1, and still unable to do so there as he goes down looking at that 4-seamer. Royce Lewis, 2 hits today, popped this one up into foul territory, and Omar Figueroa settles underneath it. 1 more out, and it will be just a 1-run difference that the Rockies need to make up in the 9th. Allows the walk here to Sean Murphy. That'll bring up the 9-hitter. Homered his last time out. Not going to do so again here. The fly out to right field ends the inning. And the Rockies need to come up with 1 run to extend the ball game. 2 runs to put some pressure here on the Braves here in the bottom of the 9th. We've got Murillo, Dorsey, and Veen up, and the Braves closer is a lefty. I do like the fact that Murillo gets to face off against the lefty here in the 9th. We know that his ratings are much better against lefty pitching. Hader has 1 save and 1 blown save so far in the postseason. Hoping to make it 2 blown here in game 1. Murillo up to bat first. Hasn't quite had his signature moment in the postseason yet. He hasn't been terrible by any means, but he has a lot of signature moments here in the series. Looking for his first postseason one. Could it come right here? About as good of a lefty batter as you've got in this league. Unfortunately, unable to get this one by Albies at second base. First out gone for the Rockies. Brings up Dorsey. He has hit a homer in this game. Also very capable of mashing lefties. This one popped up on the first pitch. Albies settles underneath it, and it's 2 up, 2 down, just 1 out left. And it's Zach Veen, the lefty. Certainly not a bad hitter against lefty pitching, though he is, as you'd expect, better against righties. One of the few players on the team that is. Swinging at the slider there. 4 strike 1. All comes down to Veen. He gets a pitch right over the middle there. And it'll be into the Rocky dugout. Behind 0-2, Hader. It'll remain at 0-2 with that one fouled off.
1-2.
Favoring that slider here. No surprise on a lefty-lefty matchup. off again. Zach Veen doing everything he can to stay alive here and keep the Rockies in this ball game. And that's going to be strike three. Looking, the slider finally gets Veen. The Braves win game one. A close game, well fought by the Rockies there to bring it back close in the end, but unfortunately we can't pull another game out late. We've been putting a lot of pressure on ourselves to come up clutch in the 8th, 9th, and sometimes 10th innings so far in the postseason. So far it's worked out well for us, but ultimately just 5 hits on the day for the Rockies offense, just unable to get on base enough. It was a favorable pitcher's, umpire. The zone favored the pitchers a lot, and the Rockies just could not adjust. You saw a lot of strikeout looking from the team, especially late in the game, when by then you'd hope that they would have adjusted. But we're hopping straight into game 2 now. Can we avoid falling behind the Braves 0-2 here in the series before heading to Coors Field for game 3? Braves had twice as many hits as us in this last game. Don't want that to happen again. We will have our ace on the mound for this game. You really want to win when you've got your ace. The Braves will be pitching Hunter Waldrop, rated at a 91 overall. So even though we're bringing out our best pitcher at an 89 or a 90 overall, he would be the lowest rated starter in the Braves starting 5. That's just how potent this starting rotation is. We're going to be at a disadvantage for however many games this series lasts on the mound. So we got to see some more hits aboard here in game 2. In the postseason, a 2.84 ERA is pretty good, but a 1.5 whip's a little high for Waldrop in his 1 game started so far. Fly out to left field is how the Rockies offense starts this game. Clemente Herrera up next. This one's hit deep to left field. That'll be down for extra bases. Marsh able to haul it in and make the throw, but a 1-out double for Clemente Herrera. This guy continues to be our postseason MVP with the consistency, with the ability to come up in the late game as well. Murillo, that one was underneath the zone, but he gets it in for a base hit anyway. Marsh, the throw to home, but Herrera slides in safely. That's an RBI single for Murillo to kick off game 2. Not often you see base hits on pitches that low. Murillo able to get it done. Dorsey after him, swiping out the slider for the second out of the inning to bring up Zach Veen. He's looking at the splitter. Back-to-back strikeouts for Waldrop to end the first, but Murillo gets the scoring going much earlier here in game 2 than we had it last time out. 2 hits aboard already. Now we have Chase Dollander. He was awesome in that first start. 0.63 whip. Was really good against that Cardinals offense. This is a tougher test today, but that Cardinals offense was no slouch, so it was very impressive what he did in game 1. Here, though, he's allowing the early homer to Marsh. This one down in right field in the stands. The second postseason home run for Marsh, 453 feet on this deep ball. The Braves tie things up immediately. Much like the Rockies offense, this team has some serious power potential pretty much all throughout their lineup. And that'll bring up Acuna. Hitting just 200 so far in the postseason. This pitch high in the zone. Cranked deep to left center field. Veen is leaping, but he can't haul it in. Back-to-back home runs for the Braves, and they're on top in the bottom of the first. Acuna, one of the best players in all of baseball here. Deep into this series, still the case. Showing up for his squad here early. 2-2 count for Ozzie Albies. He's down looking. So he's allowed 2 home runs, but sandwiched in between them, there are 2 impressive strikeouts here. That'll bring up Torkelson. 0-0 pitch. He's swinging at it. Hauled in by Sterling Thompson, and we're out of the inning. 2 deep balls by the Braves, getting things started. Thompson gets a pitch right over the middle of the zone, and he absolutely cracked that ball right at back over the middle. That one would be coming off the bat at 115 miles an hour. Salas down looking. These ones not quite as maybe borderline as some of the calls that we saw early on in the last episode, but it's clear the batters certainly aren't going to get a lot of favorable calls in this game either. Brian Doe with a base knock. Sterling Thompson going for third, and this outfield has some really impressive arms in it. Last time we saw Acuna catching Veen, trying to go for second. Now Michael Harris gets Sterling Thompson here. That was a bang play. Gotta be careful testing these Braves outfield arms. Rockies 4 hits aboard already after just 5 in all of game 1. Only able to turn it into 1 run so far. Dollander against Olsen, and there's the light tower power you see from the first baseman. 450 feet, 110 miles an hour off the bats. You can't make any mistakes with Matt Olson. Just an elite power threat for this Braves lineup. And already 3 solo homers given up in the game for Chase Dollander. Earlier on in his career, that was a big problem of his. He's really been able to limit them over the last couple of seasons, having himself really 2 good seasons to start his career. But this Braves offense, talented enough to bring up old wounds for sure. Royce Lewis there. Singles. Up the middle. So a man on and no one out. 3 runs on the board for Atlanta, and seeing a lot of strikeouts here to start this series. Both games 1 and 2. Batters trying to be patient, but these umpires not giving them any favorable calls here. That hit from Ignacio Alvarez will bring home the 4th Brave run already. First one acquired not via home run. Marsh pops it up to center field. Brian Doe with the snag, and we're out of the inning. 2 runs allowed in each of the innings for Dollander. Not the start we wanted from our ace. Swinging at the slider is Kyle Brown for the first out here, top of the 3rd. 4th K of the game for Waldrop already. Clemente Herrera got himself a hit last time and getting himself a little bit extra. here in the third. It's a home run blast for the rookie star out in right field for the Rockies. I mean, how can you not love Clemente Herrera and all that he's doing here in the postseason? Doing it with some style as well. Certainly likes to have fun. When it comes to the offseason, I know we're still deep in the postseason here, but we've got some money to maybe extend people long term, and I think Clemente Herrera is proving that he's an excellent candidate to get that Braves style early long-term contract from this Rockies team. Rafael Murillo up to the plate now. He drove in the first Rockies run in the first inning. Still waiting for that signature game from Murillo. Hitting .286. He's not playing poorly in this postseason by any means. But he's built up such high expectations for himself with all of the production he's given us in the games that we've watched, as well as in simulation in his young career. Want him to have that excellent postseason game. Here he has the count at 2 apiece. 45 pitches into the game is Waldrop. This one's hit deep to right field. It's over the wall. Back-to-back Rockies home runs here in the third to respond to the back-to-back home runs we saw from the Braves in the first inning. Rafael Murillo, 2 for 2 today, has driven in a run in each of his at-bats. This is the Rafael Murillo that we know and love here in the series. Neil Dorsey. Good pitch to hit there. Gets himself a single. Was hoping for maybe the back-to-back home runs that we saw one time in the previous series. But I'll take the 3 straight hits. Sterling Thompson with 2 gone. Lifts it to left field, and that'll be it for the third. 7 hits aboard for the Rockies already in this game as Acuna goes down looking at the slider, bottom of the zone. 4th strikeout of the day for Dollander. He's certainly done a good job with the strikeouts, and there he adds another. Excellent job by our starting pitchers here in this series so far, finding the edges of these zones on these 2 strike counts. Now, as you can see, Dollander getting ahead 0-2 in each of these at-bats here. Strikes out Torkelson here. He was just 1 foul tip pitch away by Ozzie Albies from an immaculate inning here. Ends up with 3 strikeouts on 10 pitches in the inning. An excellent response from Dollander after a rough start. Figueroa grounds out here, and the Rockies unable to come up with anything here in the 4th. And Figueroa's defense is not the 8th inning yet. We can't expect anything from him. Olsen 1 for 1 today. Hits another one deep. Homered his last time out, and he homers again. This one goes for 415 feet, and he's a very dangerous guy to go against. Wasn't able to do anything for the Braves in Game 1, but definitely makes up for it with his 2nd home run of Game 2. Chase Dollander was so good in the 3rd, was hoping it could continue here into the 4th. Unfortunately, allows his 4th solo homer of the game. Full count here again for the second straight time, but he's gotten a strikeout both times out. That is getting his pitch count a little bit up there now, though. Into the mid-60s here as we will end the fourth. Score 3-5 in favor of the home team Braves. Rockies still have the lead in hits, though. If you're looking for silver linings as we head into the fifth. Kyle Brown. They say he went around that one for strike three. Murillo 2 for 2 today. Gets one right over the middle. Unfortunately, can't take advantage of it, though. So another quiet inning for Colorado. Murillo upset with himself that he couldn't take advantage of the meatball over the middle. Swinging is Michael Harris, and Salas picks it up out of the dirt and makes the throw for the 9th strikeout of the day. I mean, worse, a couple less home runs allowed away from talking about an excellent start from Chase Dollander here. Unfortunately, we can't take those home runs away as he gets the 1-out single allowed here. To Brandon Marsh now. Acuna swinging at the fastball well above the zone. Makes it double-digit Ks on the day for Dollander. Albies trying to steal second, and the throw was just a little bit too low. Forced Murillo to field it off the hop. Had to go up just a little high. So a runner in scoring position now for Albies. Flies out to right field, though, so no extra runs scored. MVP up to the plate here. This one gets by the glove of Torkelson. Starting off the 6th with a base knock. Certainly like how we're getting more consistent hits here. More runners in scoring position here. Don't love the fact that Veen's going to ground into a double play right after it, though. The 5-4-3 hit this right at Royce Lewis. Dorsey certainly doesn't have the speed to avoid a double play. Thompson. Another decent pitch to hit, though, but rounds it right to Torkelson, and an inning with some potential wasted there by Colorado. Herb Reyes once again being called up here in the 6th, or called out, I should say, to the mound. Don't know why our manager calls on Herb Reyes every single time, but I actually don't mind it here in this situation going against Matt Olson. He doesn't hit lefties nearly as well, and he has 2 home runs on the day already, so we certainly want to try to get him in a worse matchup if we can. So despite the fact that he goes to Reyes every single time, I actually am a fan of it in this spot here. Need him to have a better performance than he did in game 1 here, though. When he gets Matt Olson swinging, that's why you bring out the lefty. Now going against Royce Lewis. This one is gloved by Kyle Brown, and Reyes with a clean 6th. Bottom of the order up for Colorado here. Top of the 7th. Drew Hackenberg into the game for the Braves, and he gets Salas hacking at that pitch. 2-1 for Doe. This one inside, and it is going to drop down right in front of Michael Harris for the 1-out single. Hasn't been too productive of a NLCS so far for Brian Doe. Maybe that one can get him started. He was really good in the NLDS, hitting 2 home runs in 3 games there. Omar Figueroa up to the plate here. Brian Doe steals a base. It's an extra benefit here with Brian Doe is that he is probably our best base stealer on the team with his speed in the 90s and his stealing in the 60s. Figueroa swiping at that one. Still haven't reached the 8th inning yet, so we can't expect much from him. And now the Braves will go to Matt Cronin. Here. Pitched 2 1/3 innings, a 7.71 ERA so far in the postseason. I don't know why you're bringing out a lefty, though, to face Kyle Brown and Clemente Herrera. These guys are much better against lefties. Seems like a questionable decision by the Braves, and Kyle Brown brings home the 4th run. And now we have the same score that we did in Game 1. Rockies couldn't get over the hump from there. Can we do it in this game? Clemente Herrera, 2 for 3 today with a home run. Has always been someone we can count on in this postseason to come up in the big moments. Can he have another one here? This one gets through the infield. And the Rockies offense is alive here, top of the 7th. Herrera, his 3rd hit of the game. How many games? I think that's the 3rd time he's had 3 hits in a game in this postseason already, in 5 games. This is going to be a wild pitch. Both runners advance. So now 2 in scoring position for Murillo. He's brought home runs in 2 of his at-bats already today. Can he do it again? Pops this inside pitch up into foul territory, and the Rockies can't get anything else there. Reyes back out here. Bottom of the 7th, Kyle Brown. A nice throw on the move for the 2nd out. Michael Harris hasn't got a hit today after having a multi-hit performance in Game 1. He'll remain hitless here to end the 7th. 11 hits on the board for the Rockies, have only been able to turn it into 4 runs. Needs some better clutch hitting here in the final 2 innings. Neil Dorsey provides it. His 3rd home run of the postseason now leads the team in postseason home runs after, of course, leading us in home runs in the regular season as well. The tying home run blast here. Our coaches were suggesting that we give Dorsey a rest day for this game after pitching in Game 1. Boy, am I glad that we didn't listen. The MVP comes through for us in a major way. Zach Veen hitless today, but he's hitless no longer. Back-to-back home runs for the 2nd time in this game, and the Rockies lead for the first time since the 1st inning. A 430-foot blast by the left fielder here. Gives the Rockies a chance to come away victorious here in Game 2. Need to close it out here, though, of course. You gotta love just how quickly this offense can turn things around. From 1 run down to 1 run up, just like that. Salas up next. 0 for 3 today, 1 gone here in the top of the 8th. This is going to get through the infield. Can we now extend our new lead? With the bottom of the order coming up. Omar Figueroa. It's in the 8th inning now. This is usually when he contributes for us, but can't do so here. Ground out there. And now we've got to protect the lead. This time it's us doubling up the Braves in terms of hits. Rich Walsh onto the mound. He is our setup man. Hasn't been excellent in the postseason so far if you look at those numbers. His first inning was really good. It's just hasn't been able to do well since then. Gets the strikeout here. That is his skill set, and I don't know why the MLB The Show uses that camera angle so much after strikeouts. Don't need to see the dude's butt. I'm sorry. Strikeout number 2 there gets Acuna looking. And he's struck out 2 of the best hitters in this lineup. That'll bring up Ozzy Albies. Full count pitch is in for strike 3, and he strikes out the side. That's the Rich Walsh that we all want to see going into the future. Striking out the 2, 3, and 4 batters of the Braves back to back to back. You'll love to see it. Now the Rockies trying to add some insurance before we get to the bottom of the 9th. Kyle Brown leads us off with a single. Herrera. This not looking so good. We'll ground into the second double play of the game here. 4-6-3. Can't be super mad at it because Herrera's come up massive for us already in this game. And then Murillo had an excellent start to this game. Unable to, unfortunately, keep it going down the stretch. So, it's going to be just the 1-run lead. The bullpen has been a problem for us in the first 4 games of the postseason, but they have not allowed a single run in this game. When Herb Reyes came in for Dolander in the 6th inning, the Braves had 5 runs. What's been a weakness for us all postseason long has been a great strength here in Game 2 of the NLCS. We just need to finish it off with 1 more inning. We get the first out there. But out comes Matt Olson, and he's facing off against the righty once more. The 2 previous times he's faced off against the righty in this game, don't need to remind you, home runs both times out. This one, though, can Salas haul it in? Yes, he can. We get out Matt Olson, probably the batter I was most worried about here in the 9th. 2 up, 2 down, 1 out left, and the Rockies can tie this series at 1 apiece. A lot of pressure here for Royce Lewis. Gets a pitch over the middle, but it's right to Murillo, and the throw is accurate. The Rockies win Game 2. This was a game that had a ton of solo home runs in it. But ultimately, surprisingly, it was the Rockies bullpen that came out and was excellent down the stretch of this game. Herb Reyes, Rich Walsh, Tony Santillan, keeping the Rockies off the board was a big key to this victory. Clemente Herrera with 3 hits, including a home run, and then the back-to-back homers by Neil Dorsey and Zach Bean. We're headed to Colorado, tied 1 apiece, exactly where I was hoping we could be. Didn't think we'd be able to take the first 2 games, but if we could just take 1, gives our team a really good chance here in the NLCS. I'll see you all for games 3, 4, and 5 next time. Go Rockies.